I'm just going to say welcome to 16 Minutes with Shelby J. We're here in wonderful Epicurus in Copenhagen, where your residency is coming to an end for this time around.
It is for this time around, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
I'm very happy to be able to sit here with you on this final night here in almost sunny Copenhagen. It's a bit stuffy outside right now, but it's wonderful nevertheless. And here you are, and I was so lucky that I got the experience to see you last week, which was an absolute blast.
Thank you.
So
thank you. Yeah, the shows here are great. I love this room, and the energy from the people of Copenhagen has been next level. It's just been amazing. I love it.
Yeah, so happy that that's the feeling you're getting from coming here. And,
oh yeah.
And you've traveled with your music, I know. So, and this is your second time around here in Copenhagen?
Second time, and I was here last year in September, and I had been to Copenhagen before with Prince. We did a music festival here right after Ida got in our band, and we call it like the Purple Music Festival. I don't want to get the year wrong, but I want to say it was around 2012, I believe, somewhere in there. Somebody will find it and let me know. But I was here then, but I didn't really get to see much. So now with the residency being a month, I get to go everywhere. I've ridden bikes, and I've gone all over. I have my little pass for the train, so I feel like a local.
Well, that's that's like what you can do to the bike, and you get the train pass and so on.
Yeah.
That's almost everything you can ask for.
There's so much beauty here. There's so much beauty.
I'm really glad that you have the experience. You're originally from the States.
Yes, I'm from North Carolina. I'm a Southern girl.
You're a Southern girl. Yeah.
I'm always between North Carolina and Virginia. That's my nucleus. So.
See, and it's so. Obviously, you've been active for what, 30 years now.
Yeah.
And you've got to meet some of the greats of the genre, like some of the world's biggest musical stars. So
yes.
How did this journey start? I guess this is like a short format, so I'm not going to make you expand the full story, but obviously going from
7 years ago.
Well, but like, what maybe like some key moments, like when have you've met some wonderful people and worked with them and so on, and that brought you to see some parts of the world that maybe you weren't expecting to.
Oh yeah,
and so
I am my grandmother's wildest dream. I tell people that all the time. She always wanted to see the world, and it was very limited, what she was able to access. So I am living for her when I get to go all over. I've been on every continent but one. Antarctica's on my list. So once we do that, but I started out singing, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version if I can, in the Southern Baptist Church with my mom, Mamie Johnson, playing piano and organ, my sister Lynn on drums, and I just love to perform, and it just gave me such a great feeling performing in church. That is my root. Like, that is the root of everything I do, comes out of the church. I did cruise ships when I was about 20. I left college. I told my parents, I'm going to go do cruise ships. I want to sing. They're like, what are you doing? And my dad's like, live your dream, and college will always be there if you want to go back. Made my way to New York, started working at some of the great spots, Sylvia's, in Harlem, some of the world famous spots. There we're family, Melba's as well. And I got with D'Angelo first in 1999 through Anthony Hamilton. D'Angelo was looking for a singer, and that happened. So I did the Voodoo tour. Next thing you know, I'm on Chris Rock doing Chicken Grease with D'Angelo, and I was in his band, and we did the amazing, historic, at this point, 30 years, our anniversary of the Voodoo tour, and we called ourselves the Soultronics, and we got like Questlove, Pino Palladino, Spanky Charmos Alford, Roy Hargrove. That's where we connected. So it's been a great kind of little ride, and a lot of people that don't know I was with Prince, they only know me from being with Prince, go back and go, wait a minute, Shelby was with D'Angelo and Anthony Hamilton and things like that. But after D'Angelo, I got with Anthony, and I was in his band, and that led me to Prince through Larry Graham.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was just looking a bit into your work with Anthony Hamilton as well, which is a bit funny because when I was a little kid, like I got into hip hop music, and I loved the Twister Kamikaze album.
Yeah.
He does the singing on the.
I taught him everything he knows.
Like the Bill Withers sample on the Sunshine song, which is like my most rotated song when I was like 12 years old.
For real?
Yeah, I really
Okay.
love that. So that's just a really funny, like almost like throwback for me to see that name up again, and obviously, just again a big question, but being in the midst of the whole neo soul movement, you know, what was that like back in the, like?
It was very, very awesome. It was just a great time in music. You had Janae, and a good friend of mine now to this day, Renee Newfield, one of the vocalists in Janae. Of course, you had D'Angelo, you had Maxwell. One of my first tours was with Maxwell. I was singing background for Groove Theory. That was pre-Anthony and pre-D'Angelo. So there was just this vibe going on in New York City. And I was just happy to be there because I got on the train and came up from North Carolina just with a dream. I just wanted an opportunity to sing. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I had no plan, except I knew I needed to be there. And I just started meeting people and singing everywhere. Everywhere I went, I would meet musicians and they were like, hey, this is happening, and just networking and just building my tribe. And my tribe is really big now. And now we're looking at the next one's coming up, you know, but we remember the mid 90s and the late 90s was just a great time for music in New York City and just all over, you know, touring and everything.
Well, yeah, and then you think the organic, the meeting between people actually out face to face. I was hearing you had your flyer lying up on the desk. Of course, with like a call to connect on socials, which you do now, but still, like, you know, coming up in an age where you had to be there and you had to actually, you know, go out and meet people face to face and, you know, show up for agreements because you couldn't just like drop a late cancellation
there was
on your phone, like,
we didn't bail out. I mean, I remember when MySpace was the big thing and everybody was like, oh, I've got a song, I'm going to put my music on MySpace, and, you know, I'm dating myself, but that was a fact. And it was new technology as far as being able to control your music. And Prince, you know, talked about that as far as when he set up the New Power Generation Music Club, that things were going to be going to a place where the artists would have more control. And it started back then with being able to upload your own music and say, hey, you can come and get my music. You didn't have to go through a label and you're trying to go to showcases were big back in the day, and you have to be seen by someone from a label for them to say, we're going to take a chance with you and go into a studio. And now you can have a studio in your home. I do recording myself, you know, and it's the top quality. Sure, I still record in big studios, but I can get out my initial ideas and then some more doing it myself. And you couldn't do that, you know, in 1996, you know, not like you can do it now.
You know, like it had like a different value. The entry level was way higher. You know, you're investing in studio time and being there, and but also people practice more. Like, you know, I would like almost go as far as to say that, you know, like it was a different way, a different approach to it. It had to be, because obviously it was more precious before you had to
absolutely. And still with what I'm doing now, and I talk about it, I do have a hashtag real, because we're moving into this AI realm where you can't even tell if the person is a real person, and people are commenting like saying, oh, she's amazing, girl, you're singing from my heart. And this is a cartoon that someone created in a room last night, and you think you're watching a real person with a heart and lungs and feelings, and it's not real. And so it's really important to shine a spotlight, because there's so many real singers, real songwriters, real musicians. I mean, songwriters that write all the lyrics. They don't just put 2 words into ChatGPT and a song pops out. So, you know, you have people taking a lot of shortcuts. I'm not saying you can't use technology as a tool, but we're entering a scary time where it's becoming more than a tool. It's becoming like all of it. So the creativity is leaving, and the work that you have to put in. I had to learn songs. I had to practice all the time. I mean, all that stuff builds you to be a stronger performer, but it definitely separates the real from the fake. You can, you know, and so our stock is going up. The real stock is going up.
See, that's a really interesting way to view it, if you ask me as well. Yeah. You said something that really like resonated from stage and last week when I saw you here. You were saying, like, you know, you can't even tell what with your eyes was real, but this you're looking at right now is very real, you know. And I was like, it just really like rung with me, because it's going to be, our stock is going to go up, like, you know, being out there and actually connecting with people, because people feel, you know, it's dystopian, you know, it's like it's cyberpunk almost, like, you know, just really getting thrown out.
Holograms and robots and everything, you know. And so, and that's just, it's not real, and so it's not. You have to have a heartbeat, and you know, when you write music and sing music from the heart, it touches the heart. If you don't have a heart, you can't do that. You know,
right. Yeah, well, yeah.
You can't do that. So
well, yeah, well, this is an art. It's an art. Like, you know, it even rhymes, but you know, it has to be. I've got this discussion with friends of mine as well about, you know, what defines art, and I'm like, you know, if there wasn't an intention behind it, you know, if it was all made up in the generative AI somewhere in the depths, you know, like if there wasn't something intended for someone to have an interpretation of, you know, it will never, like I wouldn't be able to define it as art.
What's your
anyway,
experience?
You know? Yeah, right.
Like, know. What's your, when I write, I'm writing from my ups, my downs, my valleys, my being in this industry over 30 years, and all of those little nuggets and seeds that goes into my writing, that goes into my performing, and it's real. And so, as my mama would say, don't worry about them, you make your contribution, baby. And so I'm gonna keep doing that, but I'm definitely using my platform to shine a light on real artists. Like, there's so many of them out there that are touring, that are putting out their music, and people need to know. I'm like, this is what's real. #real. Support these people. This isn't real. So, yeah.
Sure.
And you would think they would know, but some people just don't know. No, they don't know.
You have to have, like, you have to have like some sort of investment, because also, like, if we go into consumption now, right? You know, we're on the same 7.5-inch screen, you know, and just people just scrolling through.
Because it looks really real.
And, you know, and if you're only getting these fragmented 3-second bites, you know, who are you to tell what you're defining? Like,
and whose voice is that, by the way? You've taken this singer, this singer, this singer, this singer, put it all together, and you create a sound. And that's just, you know, that's robbery. You know,
that's another dimension to it. Actually, the Danish, you know, Coda, who had taken, like, you know, the Danish rights, musicians' rights. They took Suno to court just half a year ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because they said, like, you're not protecting the owners in the publishing here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this. And so, you know, I'm just going to keep. I've got some great songs coming out this summer, and I'm so excited. And it's real musicians playing on it. You know, I got Phil Lassiter, Pino Palladino, Calvin Rogers. I got some heavy hitters on this.
All stars right there.
Yeah, and some real singers that can sing. The mic is always on, as Prince would say. The mic is on. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. So I'm going to put my energy into that and make sure people can come to me to get it directly. Because, you know, with streaming, I don't want to devalue my music, and you invest, you know, I'm an independent artist, so I invest my own money, my own resources in my music to not just give it away and let someone just stream it and they want to give me 0.000001 on my, it's like, that's crazy. You can't support yourself like that, you know, so you're forced to say, well, I'm not going to make any money off my album, so I guess I just have to tour, and that's the only way I'm going to see any money. And I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense. So for me, I'm going to do it like Prince did and offer it directly to my supporters, give them the choice. I'm not saying I won't ever stream it after to make it more accessible from a promotional point of view, but first and foremost, I want them to come to me. The soup is here. I've been cooking it in the kitchen. I got the seasoning on it. This is the only kitchen you're going to be able to buy from. This is Shelby's Kitchen. Come get it.
And that's how you create a community as well.
Yeah, and that's what those cards are about. Yeah. Because when they scan that QR code, it brings them to Shelby's Kitchen.
And you go on your website.
Right there. Yeah, exactly. So they know exactly, it's me, here it is, boom, pow.
I love that. So before we're going to touch a bit more upon Prince and you meeting him and so on in a minute, but you're saying new music coming out. And so it's been 8-9 years since you've dropped an album. Last time you've been doing various things here. Yeah,
I've been putting out singles. I put out, you know, God Is Here. That was 2018 when I went through my breast cancer journey. And I've, you know, life be lifing, as the kids say. And so there were some moments where I kind of disappeared and people didn't really know what was going on, but life was happening. Breast cancer, divorce, father's death, you know, Prince's death right after that. So there were so many things that happened that I don't want to say derailed, but it definitely delayed some of the things I wanted to do. But the beauty of that is now I see that the delay was not denial, and all of those things that I went through, I'm writing about now, and the music is just meatier and greasier because of those experiences. So I have so much more to say and a better way to say it. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I've got a song coming out. The first single I'm going to debut with Candy Dolfer's band at our Purple Jam happening July 2nd in Utrecht. And it's called See You Again. And it's about my touring life and my journey with what I call my bookends, which is D'Angelo and Prince. Yeah. Those are my bookends. And the song is paying homage to them. And I wrote it with my good friend and bass player and MD, Darren Tripp Thomas, who's amazing. And I'm excited for the world to hear this song because I poured a lot of my soul into this. When you hear it, it's one of those, and I just sent it to Imani Archer, D'Angelo's only daughter, for her to hear it, and she loves it. So I'm excited about releasing that first.
Wow, yes. Yeah. There's something at stake there. I can tell. And
yeah, it's beautiful. You know, it's like a poem to both of them. You know.
I'm seeing you perform and listening to your music. I'd say for me, it would be hard for me to imagine doing anything but pouring your soul into it. I think I guess that's the church upbringing. I'm not sure, but yeah,
that's what it is. It's like you don't phone it in. You know, whether it's two people or whether we're at the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know, when I get up on that stage, because I respect our craft so much. I studied the greats. I studied Sammy and Ella and James, and you know, they bled on that stage. They gave everything they had to each and every performance. So that's what I come from. That's my school, you know, the Mavises, and everything, you can feel it. You know, they really care about their performance. They're not up there singing along with themselves and moving their lips. That's not happening. And so that's the school I come from. And so it respects the craft, you know.
A lot, yeah. Were you performing at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I was there 2007. That was actually my first kind of coming out with Prince. I had gotten in his band New Year's Eve of 2006 going into 2007. After we performed, he asked me to be in his band in the dressing room. And as he's leaving the dressing room, he turns around and he's like, we start rehearsing for the Super Bowl next week. And I was like, okay. All right, Prince, I'm in your band and I'm going to start rehearsing for the Super Bowl. What's happening? So yeah, that happened.
That's like 5 weeks from there.
That was a dream. And I had to call people. I was still in Anthony's band. I had to call Anthony and be like, because I was just doing a one-off to fill in for a singer, you know. That was with Larry Graham, and then Prince invited me back. So the way things happen, you know, it's God. You know, he puts you where he wants you to be and opens those doors. But Prince said, you know, he asked me, he's like, where have you been? And I was like, I've been working. So you work, so when you get those opportunities, you're ready for them. You don't have to prepare, you're ready for them. So when you're seen by somebody who can make the ultimate difference in your life, this was at a sound check. He saw me singing at a sound check. Now I could have been up there messing around, half doing whatever. I was singing at that sound check, and he asked me to sing the song 3 times. I thought it was the sound man, but it was him because I couldn't see it. I just heard the voice. He was like, "Can you do it again?" And I was like, "Man, they really want this sound to be like great. This is gonna be the best sound ever." We were at his club, 3121 in Vegas, but I was told he was never there during the week. He was only there on the weekends, and this was a Wednesday. And I was sound checking with Larry Graham. I was filling in for his singer, and it was Prince that was at the sound check. And Larry was like, "Yeah, he likes you. I think you just auditioned." And I was like, "Oh, wow." And that's when I met him.
Sometimes, yeah, God works in mysterious ways.
Oh, yeah. Because I could have said no to Sandra when she said, "Hey, are you off?" I said, "Hey, I got 2 weeks off from Anthony Hamilton. Of course I'll fill in," because I was so happy to be singing with Larry Graham, who's a legend. This is Larry Graham,
you know?
And I was just like, "Thank you so much." And so he met me, and he said he fell in love with me because when he called me to do the gig, I told him I'd have to call him back because I was curling my grandmother's hair. And he said when I told him that, I had the gig. He was like, he said, as soon as you said that, you had the gig. You know, he said, that said more about you than anything. He goes, I didn't even need to hear a note. He was like, so thank you, Grandma.
Yeah,
so
a wholesome activity to be,
and he comes from that, you know,
course,
and he loves his grandmama. I believe she raised him part of the way, so it's that bond. So he was like, okay, she's got that root, you know?
Yeah, of course. So you were mentored by Prince for a long while.
Yeah, I was mentored by him and molded and stretched, sometimes painfully so, just to make me the best version of Shelby that I could be. That's all he ever wanted. And I really see that now.
What was we're talking obviously about Prince as a musician, but to me, like him as a cultural icon as well. What was it like being so close to someone who's well, just that whole like that whole moment in time was something even for a whole chapter for itself, right? But like being close to someone who's obviously when you get that level of fame and talent going on, like people, what was it like being close to someone whose energy has touched so many people, but just going through screens? Like what was it like to actually be in the presence of someone and actually building a relationship over time as well?
Yeah, it was amazing and electric, and I still pinch myself when I look at pictures and I know it's me, and I see the videos and I know it's me, but I just, I was a little girl from North Carolina that wanted to sing. I didn't come from a big city. I didn't come from Hollywood or New York. I came from Greensboro, North Carolina, and I just wanted to sing and perform. And the fact that someone of his level and caliber would pick me out of all the singers in the world to say, I see something in you and I want you to be in my band and I'm going to nurture what I see in you. And I'm just forever grateful. And that's why I tell people I'll never stop talking about him. Ever, because he put me on Front Street all over the world. It's like I go to these places, they know me first and foremost because he took me there. And so when I go back, of course I'm going to talk about him. I have my own thing. He was like, Shelby, do your own thing. I hear him saying that in my head still now, which I do, but I always talk about him, and I'll throw a musicology or a Raspberry Beret into my set. But he was a beautiful man, off stage as well. He taught me a lot about African history, about the history of Black people in America, things I didn't even learn in school. He would always show up with DVDs and books, and I love that because I love history, and he loved that I love that. I wanted to be a sponge because my daddy taught me, never stop learning, never stop growing, never stop evolving, always stay teachable. So you can always keep learning things. And it was just great that he was like that too. And he was such a smart man, funny man, tough man as well. He was serious about his business and about his band. And if you were going to be in his band, wherever you started in his band, if you could make it past a day, some people didn't. If you could make it past the audition and stay with him, your level, if you came in at a 5, you were going to be like a 12. I tell people I got my PhD with him. It's just, if you let him, teach you and push you, and even now with my bands, with people I play with, he's in me. And the things that I learned from him about attention to detail, pushing, rehearsing, making sure the arrangements are tight, making sure they're tight again. We would rehearse sometimes 9-10 hours in a day because he was so dedicated to the music and respected the music so much and wanted everybody that paid their hard-earned money to come see us to get the best show ever. And he poured that into each and every person, into the Blackwells, into the Johnsons, into the Twins, into Liv. He poured that into all of us.
There's like being very diligent to your craft and having that sort of feeling towards your audience. I want people to, when they spend their hard-earned money, I want them to feel that we've really worked for this as well.
That's why the first thing I do is thank people. When I get up on stage, I thank them because they're taking their time and their resources to come and support live music and to come and see us. So that's out the gate. Thank you so much for coming, because it's not really about me. I'm a vessel for what God is sending through me, and especially now, because I've evolved from the artist I was when I started. I've evolved as a woman. I've evolved going through, like I said, cancer, going through divorce, going through heartache, going through losing both my parents, going through losing Prince. Those things grow you and change you if you allow them to. Going through COVID, all of those things, I grew a lot. And so now I can put all of that, I call it like Shelby 3.0. I'm still Shelby, but I'm Shelby new and improved Shelby. And some of the things that Prince was trying to tell me, that, when you're 37, you might not, or 27 even, you're like, you don't want to hear it. You think and you don't. And it didn't make sense to me then, but it makes sense to me now, that I've matured.
Yes.
And so, I'm just grateful that he took the time and never gave up on me. Never.
But it sounds like you never give up on yourself either. That's probably most important, right?
Oh yeah, I never. And there have been some hard times. There have been struggles, and I tell people there are much easier professions to pick than to be a singer and a songwriter. And listen, there are much more steadier forms of income where you're going to get a check every 2 weeks. But when you love this thing, like I love it, it's like nothing else matters, because I know it is what I was meant here to do. It is my ministry. It is my mission. So whatever I have to do to continue to do that, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's not a choice.
It's not a choice. No, it's not a choice.
Wow. I'm so happy about your being so candid and so on. Shelby, just asking, what are you most excited about in music right now and for the rest of the year and so on? What's like both for yourself, but also like generally musical right now?
Yeah, I'm excited. For myself, I'm excited about the new music I've been working on for like 2.5 years, and not really just kind of, I'm working on this, to finally be able to present it to people, because I'm so proud of it. And it's just, I'm so proud of it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about touring and going places I've never been before, and letting people know I'm open to everything. I want to go with my band to places like Japan and places that I've never been with the Shelby Show. I've been there with other people. I've done a feature. I've been there with Prince, different countries and everything. But there's a list that I have of places that I want to go to do the Shelby Show. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about acting, and I'm doing my first short film that my sister's company is doing, and I'm starring in that. So shout out to Cue Ball Pictures and Genre Music Group. Excited. I'll be filming that when I go back in June. When I go home in 2.5 weeks, we'll be filming. We started before I left. So I'm excited about all of those things. And just the dreams that I have, and knowing, because Prince was like, you need to be on Broadway. You need to be on. I was like, well, how do I do that? Like, you say that, like, he was like, well, you can do it, because, if I can do it, you can do it. But I'm like, you're Prince. Like, of course, they're going to just walk you on to Broadway, but well, how do I do that? So these are the things, I'm just putting it out there for people so they know, because Mama said, closed mouth don't get fed. So if people don't know your dreams, they can't even help you manifest them. So I'm being more open and honest about things I want to do. So I'm looking forward to just continuing on that path. And I also like a lot of the new artists, like the Olivia Deans, the Rays, that I'm seeing with a full band, and their mics are on, and they're doing their thing. That's important. Prince would say that. Yeah. Prince would be like, my mic is on. He was like, all the time, because if not, what are you doing?
What are you doing then? Yeah,
what exactly, are you doing? Yeah. You're just, I'm excited about that. And that new crop of people, and I sing some of their stuff to put people on. They go, who is that? I'm like, it's Olivia Dean. Check her out. Check her out.
It's a great moment. Like, you took, when I was here last week, I'm just going to reference it again. It was really good. You took us through the full musical history. You did a bit of the Beatles as well. And
because I sing songs. Prince was like, with hit songs, they've done the work. He's like, they've done the work. We would do that in his show. We would do, Roller Coaster. We would do Play That Funky Music, White Boy. We would do Sly and the Family Stones. Music he loved. He's always, why would you not do a show and do songs that you love? Yes, I can do my own music as well. Mix it in. Like, do what you feel. Yeah. So if you want to do some of your music and then throw in a Slide, throw in a Mavis, I love to sing those songs, and people love to hear them. So it's like, and it's right in my lane. It's like I do it the Shelby way.
Yeah, of course.
And so
it will always be your flavor.
Yeah, always be my flavor, a little hot sauce.
Yeah, exactly. So this is you're going to be out of here in a minute. You're just playing your last show tonight when we're recording this.
Yeah, last show.
But you'll be back again before we know of it.
Back in September with a brand new show. I was feeling this. I kind of dreamed it, to do a salute to some of the greats that I love in the female vocal range. Nina Simone, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, and I'm going to add some more. I'm going to do some things from the 50s and 60s, a little Frank Sinatra. People don't know that's my lane as well. So I'm going to surprise a lot of people with the set I'm putting together and the show I'm putting together. And I'll also be performing my new music that is going to be out by then. So by September, I'll have two new songs out. And of course, I'll work them into the show.
That's like an all-night. That's an all-nighter almost.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited about it.
That's, well, from all I can tell, you've got obviously great taste and also a very wide range, I can tell now also, because I'd love to hear you sing those.
Thank you. Prince called me a jukebox. He's like, Shelby is a walking jukebox. He's like, how do you know all that music? I'm like, from cruise ships, from open mics. I just had to learn everything. So, yeah.
This has been such a pleasure that you took time out to do this here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm really, really happy that you could share from a long time on the road and everything is taught you and everything is coming to you. So warm recommendation from here. Then next time you see Shelby J around your town, probably here in Copenhagen, if you're listening to this, do go check it out. This was 60 minutes plus some.
Yes, I love to have. I give free hugs to everybody that comes in. Come on in and get your Shelby love, get your Shelby hug.
Great, that's very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.